Truly beyond the halfway point now, eyes starting to shift to the playoff picture as this Week 10 game gets underway. And this will be a touchback, so we're going to need our first snap to see the first action of this game. So their offense out now to get this game started. It's 1st and 10.
Here we go. Pioneer. 19, Tiger. Ready.
Drive begins with a run by Johnson. And he's going to get up to about the 33, but no more. 3 yards on the first down play, and that brings up 2nd and 7.
I think one thing you learn, Kate, when you transition from college to the NFL, not every run is going to be a big play. Some of them, well, they're just destined to end in a minimal gain, and some of them will set up that critical play action for later.
Oh, he taps it quick to the receiver coming across here. And he won't salvage that. It's a loss on the play.
I know they say it any time he comes up in an interview, but they appreciate having him on this defense so much, Kate, because of plays like that one. Those are great instincts. It takes instincts and want to come up and run support, and not many corners can make that stop.
Commanders with an extra DB out there to defend this 3rd down. Throwing with a blitz on the way. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. And the defense comes through. That's going to back him up and bring up 4th down. The Steelers set to punt it. He sends this away, and oh, this is going to be a field flipper. And he can't evade the coverage team for much. They stop him before he gets really anything on that return. That's going to be a highlight there, a 68-yard punt. And the Commanders will go on offense. Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10.
Hawk 70. Street. Hut.
Now Daniels off the play action. Able to get it to Mostert. And he's tackled after gaining a handful.
Well, that's a pretty similar result to a 1st down run play. Moves it forward, keeps you on schedule, and makes 2nd and 3rd down a whole lot easier to manage.
60. Let's go now. Hey, Buffalo 18.
Daniels from the pistol. He lets one fly deep downfield. Defenders there. It's intercepted. And the Steelers get the football as he makes his 3rd interception of this season. Not the auspicious debut they'd certainly hoped for on that opening drive. The coverage, impressive, taking their first possession away with that interception.
Hey, it is tough to play a clean game in this league. The caliber defenders are awesome. You just hope that eventual missteps happen at a less meaningful moment than your opening series. You don't want to make it any harder to get your rhythm and get your passing game going.
Okay, ready?
Drive starts out with a 1st and 10. Throwing now off play action. Fits it through the middle. And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. They get 20 yards out of the play and move the chains. Only took him one play partner, and they've already made it to that 40-yard line. They go play action on 1st. Flushed out of the pocket. And he just gets rid of it. Knew he had a couple of plays left. Didn't want to take a risk there on 1st down.
Look at how well the coverage held up on that play. Even as the QB escapes the pocket and buys extra time, secondary, well, they got real sticky, stay tight, and force the throwaway.
It's Johnson on 2nd down. And the defense gets there to force a small loss.
They say about great outfielders in baseball, there's just something to them. They've got a knack, a feel, and instinct to to take the right line, the right angle. For safeties, to create tackles for loss in the run game, it's the exact same attribute and skill set. Got to take that right angle and then go finish that runner.
To the air, 3rd and long. Taking a deep shot here. And they really went for it on 3rd down, didn't they? But the heave falls incomplete. Now they're facing 4th down. Johnston on to punt this one. Absolutely crushed his first punt, and here's another huge one. And he's hit before he can get anything on that return. That punt goes unanswered, no return there. And the Commanders' drive is going to start from deep on their own side of the field. They'll get this drive started, 1st and 10.
Let's go. Ready, ready.
First play of the drive, here's Mostert. And he found some running room for a nice gain. Offense in the hurry up here. It's Mostert on 2nd down. And he'll get them enough for a 1st down.
You know what I like about a 2nd and short run play, Kate? Yeah, I like getting a 1st down, but you know what I like even more? That's going to set up a play-action pass in a similar down and distance, and that defense is going to have to key on the run.
First down, and they go right back to him. And what a hit there. Ouch, she pays the price for moving the chains that time.
Offensive coordinators tell us all the time, big runs only happen with coordinated efforts. Great blocking to spring them. Guys hitting blocks downfield, and a back who can show off his wheels.
New slated downs to approach here from the 40. Play fake here, Daniels. Taking the deep shot there on 1st down. Okay, no luck connecting. It's incomplete.
You know what I like about this shot down the field, Kate? It keeps a defense honest. They know defensively, if we overcommit, we could get burned deep.
Shotgun handoff for Mostert. And he'll get it up to the 44. Offense up to the line fast.
The tackle made at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and 6.
Riggs. Warriors 70. Check go.
Daniels throwing on 3rd. Got to him right as he threw it, and it falls to the ground.
Well, that's one you chalk up to the pressure earning that incompletion. They came in before he could find a target, hit him, altered that last-second attempt to get rid of it.
3rd down pass didn't work, but the offense staying out there on 4th.
19. Hey, smash, bro.
They'll go. It's Mostert. So the run doesn't get the yardage. It's a turnover on down.
Do you think maybe, just maybe, there's a chance of having too much confidence offensively? That's not a spot you want to see a team going for it on 4th down. And now puts their defense right on the hook to try and pick them up after that miscue on 4th.
And the defense is all over this one for a big loss.
Well, he was supposed to be the one who chipped away a few and got a new set of downs started right in rhythm. Instead, he's now forced to pick himself from behind the line thanks to a great effort defensively.
All right, here we go. 2nd down. Here's Johnson again. And he'll be brought down a step or two shy of midfield. They're going to mark him at the 48. So through one, this game, more for you defensive maestros out there. Couple of zeros on the board right now. We're back to Northwest Stadium right after this. Second quarter, all queued up and ready to go. It's Steeler football. They're stuck behind the sticks on 3rd and long. He's going to throw this one. And he let his man too much there, Brock. Incomplete. Fourth down coming up.
You know, it's a point of emphasis in practice each and every week, no matter where we go. How are we going to attack the coverage on third down? Well, they chose the wrong play off that call sheet that time.
79 Broncos. Mustang 19. Ready.
They're going for this. And he's brought down right in the neighborhood of that 40-yard line. It's a 13-yard pickup, and no worry at all on their side from being able to reach that marker on fourth down. That was impressive. First down now, ball at the 39-yard line. Running back sent in motion. It's a sweep. He pops the pass forward. And he's brought down for a loss.
We take a break from his regularly scheduled programming of pass coverage duties to see him adding a little contribution in the run support. And his teammates, you can just see the body language. A little nod, a little grin. They'll welcome the reinforcements every time.
Let's go now. 18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal, 60 Bobcat, 60 Bobcat. Hut, hut.
Here's 2nd and 11. That's going to be caught by Washington. And they haul him down just a foot or two shy of the red zone. That throw by the rookie out of Ohio State, good for a chunk of yards and a first down.
Go! Viking 18. Check, Panthers. Get up.
Now an inside give to Johnson. And he manages to reach the 19 before he stopped. He gets a couple on first, and they'll come up 2nd and 8.
You know, not a ton of yards, but still showing that commitment to the ground game. The type of run that keeps the defense from loading up in coverage and focusing entirely on that passing game.
And this one too far in front of him. It's incomplete. This one misses the tight end. So they're left facing 3rd and long.
Cowboy 80. Ready, ready.
Left side gets it out quick, and it's caught. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh! The Steelers get the game's first points here in the second. Boswell gets that point after to go. And they add one on to their first touchdown of the contest. Now Boswell on to send this away. So new kickoff rules. This is going to come out to the 30, not the 25 on the touchback. They're out and set. 1st and 10.
70 Rangers. Let's go. Bronco switch. Bronco. Hut.
The drive begins with a run for Mostert. And he takes this across. Nope, beg your pardon. They're going to spot him right at the 35-yard line. Halfway to the marker. It's 2nd and 5.
Brings up 2nd and 5.
Ready. Ready.
They'll go again with Mostert. And he's short of the first after a mild gain. Give him 4 yards there, and they only need one more now on 3rd down.
Brings up 3rd and 1.
Going right back to Mostert. And they've got him behind the line for a big loss. A dose of the hurry-up offense here.
It's 4th down.
4th down, here's Daniels. He finds him beyond the marker. And he's going to go down right along the midfield stripe. It's a 13-yard pickup, and no worry at all on their side from being able to reach that marker on 4th down. That was impressive. On 1st down, here's Daniels. He's on the move. Now he takes it. And he gets this down inside the red zone before going out. That one goes for 31 yards and a 1st down when all is said and done.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line.
18 Rattler. 18 Rattler. Ready.
From the red zone now. Has it down close. And they're going to get this down to the 4 before being stopped. Give him about 16 yards on that gain, Brock, and it sets him up with 1st and goal.
Cougar 19, Buffalo 18. Here we go, here we go. Go.
Daniels now. Touchdown, Washington. So the offense showing a slightly different dimension there, Brock. Getting the running back involved with his hands for the touchdown.
Yeah, such an advantage. I think when you think about it, Kate, it really is about the 80s where we start to see these running backs not just tote the ball as runners, but be real weapons when they get the ball in the passing game.
Yeah.
That's well done.
And this is caught, and that bid for the lead works out. They're now up 8-7. Now Gonzalez on to kick this one away. And he opts not to bring this one out, so they're going to enjoy some good starting field position from the 30. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10.
Here we go, set.
Fakes the handoff, now to throw. Bails out of the pocket quick. Fryermuth there to bring it in. He's finally caught, and he lost the football. Oh, no, it's out. And the Commanders pick this one up. Well, that didn't take long, Brock. One play, and they're back out there.
Well, that's how a defense can make you awfully happy as an offensive player, especially when you screw it up and you fumble. The defense picks up that offense and puts them right back on the field.
And he's caught behind the line for a loss. Moving quickly, trying to get set again. Mostert gets it again here on 2nd. And he's going to get stopped right around the 45-yard line. He finds him 16 yards and a new set of downs. Ball on the 45, 1st and 10. Staying between the tackles with Mostert. And he'll have it down to the 44-yard line. Only gets a yard there to make it 2nd and 9.
Brings up 2nd and 9. 19 tight. Panther 11, Panther 11. Trap 60, trap 60. Ready, ready.
Changing things up. They're going to throw now. It is caught left side. And a nice gain here, but it stopped short of the 1st. The Commanders take a timeout. It's their 1st.
Warriors 70. Bronco 80. Roll, roll.
A give on 3rd to Mostert. Nice cut back to the right sideline. And they catch up to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a 1st down.
Hawk 70, Hawk 70.
Here's a give inside to Mostert. And he's able to bring this one down to the 4-yard line. Washington calls it 2nd timeout. Nice spot here for the offense. It's 2nd and 1.
60 Eagle, 60 Eagle. Cup 19, Cup 19. Ready, ready. Dragon 60. Keep it up. Go.
Now Daniels to throw. He's got it. And that's a Washington touchdown. So this solid 1st half continues for them. They're into the end zone to extend their advantage.
And I think if you're a head coach here, Kate, you've got to be very happy with the effort so far. They've come out strong. They've been the ones dictating the tempo, and as a result, they add to the scoreboard.
Ooh, and he can't shake the defense. They track him down in the backfield, and this 2-point attempt fails. Now Gonzalez on to kick this one away. And he opts not to bring this one out, so they're going to enjoy some good starting field position from the 30. Just 25 seconds remaining as they get all set up for 1st down.
Let's go.
Back now, pressure on its way. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact.
Well, that was almost one of those nice chunk plays you like to see in the NFL, Kate, before he was able to recover and provide the hit and ultimately dislodge the football. You like to see that physical edge and scrappiness to contest any kind of shot plays down the field.
2nd and 10 now. On the move, headed right. And they get to him as he was trying to make something happen. And that pushes him back. 3rd down coming up.
Kate, I've seen a one-step drop. I've seen a 3, a 5, a 7. Some of the boots and play actions get more depth, but a 20-step drop? That's not going to cut it. Except for this defense, it just adds a whole bunch of negative yards to that play.
Here he is on 3rd and long. That'll be incomplete, and the clock shows 10 seconds left.
That's just simply great positioning to swat the ball away. He stayed in a spot where he could disrupt the throw before the target could make a play on it.
4th down, and on comes the punt team, and the kick's away. Starts his return from the 23. And before that return amounts to much, they bring him down. Absolutely crushed that kick, a full 70-yard punt. And they'll only have time for one play before halftime. He's back to throw. Well, the pressure nearly got to him, but still a good play defensively as that one falls incomplete. We've reached the midway point of this contest. 2 quarters down and an exciting 2 to go. The NFL on EA Sports returns after this. Back from the break, I'm Kate Scott, joined by Brock Heward, and we are just moments away from the beginning of our 2nd half. Now Boswell on to send this away. And we'll have to wait at least a few moments longer for an exciting start to this 2nd half. We've got a touchback. 1st and 10 now from the 30.
19 Lions. Here we go.
From the gun, it's Daniels. Finds him over the middle. And he's brought down after a nice gain and a 1st down. Working quickly here. Daniels on 1st down. Hit some space around midfield. And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. Offense in the hurry up here. 1st and 10 now. Here's Daniels. Throwing deep for the end zone. And this is going to end up incomplete. He really aired it out there on 1st down, but just couldn't make the connection.
Well, if nothing else, that proves they're not afraid to take a shot on any given snap. And with enough looks, eventually, one's going to connect.
A run from Mostert to begin the 3rd. And they make the tackle at the 28-yard line. Offense up to the line fast.
That's a gain of 3. It's 3rd and 7.
Here's Mostert. He gets him the 1st inside the 15. Big gainer here as he picks up 20. And now they have a 1st and goal.
No frills, nothing fancy. That was just a good old offensive line dominated in the trenches. And that sprung him to get to the 2nd level and beyond.
70 Lions. Go.
Going to the ground again on 1st. And they'll make this stop after a small push to the 5. He gets him 3, and this brings up 2nd and goal.
Hey, I get it on 1st and goal, right? A lot of teams like to be conservative and limit risk. Even if a run is stopped short, you still got 2, sometimes 3 downs to play with.
Trap 60, trap 60. Here we go, Shaq. Hut, hut.
Daniels. This one is tipped away and incomplete. Good positioning to make a play on it. That forces 3rd down.
Well, Kate, that wasn't a fast enough break for the interception, but it was good enough and a good enough break to break on the ball, get a finger on it, and force the incompletion.
Check smash, check smash.
Mostert on 3rd and goal. And he won't salvage that. It's a loss on the play. A dose of the hurry-up offense here.
4 yards. Brings up 4th and goal.
Warrior 70, Hawk 70, Hawk 70. No street.
He'll throw it. They can't connect as the coverage comes through with a 4th down stand.
Incomplete in the end zone.
Well, 99% of what they did was excellent. Right play call, good route, great throw. Just needed to make that catch. That's a situation you expect your guys to convert every time.
Play action on first down. Defender arrives right as the ball does, and the hit knocks it free. Incomplete. Tough one to retain through that hit. And now they face second down. Johnson up the middle. Juke the defender. And they can't chop to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a first down. That chunk worth a nice 21 yards. And he'll bring up a Pittsburgh first down. On the ground again with Johnson. And they try to power it forward, but only a couple of yards there.
You know, they got some positive yards. That's a good thing. But too many plays like that, it just is too hard to pile together, get first downs against the better defenses in this league.
This finds Austin complete. And a massive hit at the end of that play. Oh, baby. But he hangs on through it. Still able to get that first down.
That's just great instincts. Go air it out on second down rather than just play conservative and run it. They hit a weak point in the coverage and don't need to worry about third down at all.
Back to pass on 1st and 10. Catch made underneath by the back. And 2 yards is all he's going to get before he's caught. Jordan Poyer up from the secondary to make that stop.
I call this quarterback's best friend. Some call it a safety valve, some call it automatic, but it's sure nice as a quarterback when you got a trusty running back over the middle of the field that you can depend on.
Quick touch pass to the receiver. And he cannot shake the tackler along the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and that brings up 3rd and 9.
Stopped right at the line, but might as well have been a loss of yards as far as the offense is concerned. It's always humbling when you try force versus force, and the defense wins out.
They'll throw on 3rd and long. Gets this to Johnson. And they make the tackle at the 38. Pickup of 12 on that play. And that's a Steelers first down. New set of downs for him at the 38. Johnson gets it on 1st and 10. Along this sideline inside the 25. And he's all the way home. Touchdown, Pittsburgh! The Steelers start the second half with some needed points. Boswell to add the PAT. The point after splits the uprights. And the Steelers tie things up at 14. Now Boswell on to send this away. So new kickoff rules. This is going to come out to the 30, not the 25 on the touchback.
The Commanders take over 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10.
79 Broncos. Here we go.
Daniels from the pistol. Hauled in left side. And he'll push this upfield and earn them a new set of downs.
Third quarter with the score all time.
1st and 10 from the 41.
Mustang 19. 65, Jack. 65. Check go.
Out of the gun, Daniels. Cut out left. And he's taken down directly on that 43-yard line. That play gains 15, and it moves the sticks. Let's see how they attack this first down, Brock, from the 43. Shotgun snap to Daniels. Throwing all the way to the end zone here. And that is caught. It's a Washington touchdown. The Commanders take a 4th quarter lead. All right, partner, what do you think? Was that a design read, or did he just see space and he was reacting more on the old quarterback instinct there?
Yes. I think yes on both of them, and that play happens so fast that it really is instincts on both sides.
18, Pioneer.
Again, Daniels to the air. And he has it inside the end zone. That's going to add 2 to their lead here late. Well, he just caught them the touchdown, Brock. Defense obviously aware of him as they line up for 2. How did they lose him? How did they get it right back to him for the conversion?
Because he's that good. In moments like this, Kate, it's not even about the play, it's about the player. And when you got a player of this caliber, you find every way to get it to him. And just because he scored the touchdown doesn't mean you don't go right back to that well. I love it.
1st and 10 now from the 30.
18, Rattler. 18, Rattler. Buffalo 18.
Throwing it to start this drive. Made the throw as he was getting hit, Brock, and it's incomplete. Not on the same page with his tight end. And now it's 2nd down.
Set up. 19 tight. 19 tight.
Throwing with a blitz on the way. It's taken in by Washington. And that's good yardage there with a new set of downs to boot.
Well, that is pretty darn impeccable timing between the two. To hit a curl route of that length, it takes great anticipation and precision by the quarterback, and the receiver on the other end finishing it, doing his job.
Warrior 70.
Throwing from the gun here. This one delivered off target, Brock. That's incomplete.
You really want those throws to be like clockwork for your offense. Every team needs to hit passes in that short to intermediate range to effectively move the ball.
Go.
Throwing it again here. Austin's there to haul it in. And they get this down to the 44 before he stopped. That's an 11-yard pickup, and it gives them the 1st down.
I'm sure coach and play caller doesn't mind making the job a little bit easier. You know, play calling's a lot simpler and easier when you count on the offense to move the chains on those early downs.
Throws off the rip, but it's incomplete. This one intended for the running back. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
Well covered on that play. Really not a large window for him to sneak that throw in.
So after the incompletion, here comes the 2nd down call.
Ready. 79 Bronco. Set up.
Still sticking with the passing game. It's caught Metcalf. And he's brought down real close to that goal line at the 1. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets them up with 1st and goal.
The analytics are pretty clear. It's hard to move the ball in this league with short little dinks and dunks. You've got to get the explosive chunk. You got to get the big play. And that throw to the outside, that gets the job done.
Let's go. Check. Go.
Got to keep this one and go. And he drives into a pile of defenders and is stopped right at the line.
No gain on the play. Leads to 2nd and goal.
Now a carry by Johnson. And the defense gets there to force a small loss.
Kate, it's amazing how fast these guys are on the field and how fast your fortunes can turn. 2nd and short run, you're feeling good about yourself. But with a negative play, well, now comes a critical 3rd down.
So now, here's 3rd and goal. They'll run with Johnson. What a hit! He gets flattened to the ground. 3 straight runs, stop short of the end zone, and now what do they do on 4th and goal?
So close to a big loss of yards for those guys up front. 1 second sooner, and they got to tackle behind the line. But a stop to celebrate nonetheless.
Here he goes. Got to have this on 4th down. And it's going to be incomplete. Couldn't connect to extend the drive. He can't find the end zone. They stop him, and they'll still trail as they turn it over on downs.
You know, Kate, I don't think I've ever met a defender that cares. All they want to do is get off the field. Doesn't matter if it's a drop pass, deflection, breakup, even an interception. Challenged by the offense to get one more stop to get off the field, and that's exactly what they did.
He's going deep this time. And they can't connect on the deep look. Still a couple of snaps to play with, though, here. We've got 2nd down.
I'll tell you this, Kate, they doubled him knowing that was where the pass was likely headed. That's doing your homework. A bit surprising QB still threw it in that direction with how well the defense had that one covered.
He's got it deep downfield. And he's in for the Washington touchdown. The Commanders go up by 2 scores as they try to put this one away. Commanders again for 2 here.
Hawk 70. 19 Lions.
Washington will line up.
Backfield is empty as they motion him outright. And he goes out of bounds. Wow, major miscue there, and they're not going to get 2.
The score, Commanders 28, Steelers 14.
Now Gonzalez on to kick this one away. From his own end zone, here we go. And pretty solid field position starting out here, Brock. He's tackled at the 29.
At their own 29-yard line.
Drive starts out with a 1st and 10.
Here we go, shot. 60 Maverick, 60 Maverick. Hut, hut.
Throwing off the play fake here. Throw came out right as the defense got to him. That's an incomplete pass.
This is why we hear about closing speed so often when you evaluate players. You know, once he senses the pressure, he's getting rid of that ball. It takes a player who can close quickly to get to him before it's released and alter that throw.
2nd and 10 now. And that was probably their last gasp. It's intercepted. Jordan Poyer has it. And forget the turnover, Brock. They take it back for a late touchdown. Defense getting in on the fun, Brock, with that 4th quarter lead as they provide a nice little boost there with the pick 6.
Yeah, you could feel some of the desperation of this offense, and when you get into that mode, it is danger time. Defenses love to take advantage of it. I always say to you, Kate, play fast but never in a hurry. You can't be rushed offensively because
Into a crowd, and that pass is intercepted. Picked off by Jalen Jones.
That keeps the score, Commanders 34, Steelers 14.
A quick chance at redemption after that pick 6 as it's sent away. He's going to return it from a yard or 2 deep. And that hit is going to freeze him at the spot. He got stuck right at the 20.
At their own 20-yard line.
Ready up.
They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10.
Buffalo 18. Let's go now.
Back to the air following the pick 6. He'll dump this one off to his running back, complete. And they crush him right near the marker. It looks close, but yeah, Brock, I think he safely got that 1st down before the hit.
19 tight. 19 go.
They'll throw it. Completed to his running back. And he didn't get much time to secure it as he takes a shot. Good job to even hang on through that catch there.
Brings up 2nd and 3 at the 38-yard line.
2nd and 3. That's going to be caught by Washington. It's a 21-yard gain. And it'll bring up a Pittsburgh 1st down.
21 yards.
they've run this 12-yard out route, Kate, at the combine, well, all the way back to last century when I had to throw it. In this throw, this is a big boy throw. This is a differentiator. Can you make that deep out throw on time, on rhythm, and act?
Intercepted in the end zone. Jordan Poyer has it. And the Commanders take possession as he makes his 4th interception of our season.
You know, Kate, one of the tenets of the West Coast system that I was fortunate to play in, touchdown to check down. Touchdown to check down. You get in the red zone, it's touchdown to check down. You can't put the ball in harm's way. That's a brilliant job by the defense with their coverage, baiting the quarterback into the throw. But you got to sail that one into the stands. Touchdown or check down. You can't possibly give an interception in that situation.
Give him around 6. That's going to make it 2nd and 4.
Brings up 2nd and 4.
Wow, they're going to pass it here. They connect on the deep shot. And he flips the field for them before being taken down. Signals, and looks like we've got a timeout before that first down play.
Let's go. Go.
Oh, look at this. He's setting up to throw. And this time they're going to get there, and they drop him. Timeout taken by the offense. They're 2nd. They really need some chunk yardage here on 2nd down. They kick the running back in motion. After the sack, another pass on 2nd down. He's in trouble, and they bring him down again. The timeout's taken now as we have 1, possibly 2 snaps remaining in this ball game. Third and long for Daniels. Trying for the deep ball. Brought in inside the 20. Touchdown, Washington. The Commanders.
GG's, brother. GG's result.